and welcome to the last episode of Season 1 of After the Table. I'm your hostess with the mostest, and I'm here. It's been a long season, but I'm here. Shelly Von Miller. I'm so excited. Thank you all so much for coming on this journey with me, enjoying this podcast, and for every guest that's been here, thank you so much for answering my emails, DMs, or whatever, come what may, and thank you for wanting to be on my podcast. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, we'll have a lot of things coming forward for season 2. Be on the lookout on social media. You can also get early access and behind the scenes of stuff on Patreon and Fourth Wall memberships, where you can join for free. But if you would like to pay, tiers start as low as $7 a month. Yeah. But yeah, y'all, today I'm joined with a group of people that I kept fucking talking about this season because I can't help but talk about them because they are some of my great and groovy friends. My coterie, my darlings, my dears, my children, because most of them are younger than me. Welcome to the table, the wonderful cast. Welcome to the table, the cast and crew of Endless Elegy Second City Blues. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Ahoy.
Hello.
How's it going?
Wow. Everybody's all
no,
like,
I'm just like,
Hi.
I'm not the coterie.
Hello.
I'm the story person.
I said the cast and crew.
Oh, fair.
And crew. This is
Live
what we have to
coterie.
deal with, y'all.
I'm relegated to crew now. Oof.
Oh,
Yeah,
Cut me
crew.
deep.
hey,
Cut me
hey,
deep.
crew is
Yeah.
a valued part.
I'm like the gaffer.
Nothing
Yeah,
gets done
you're the
without
gaffer.
the crew. As someone who's been on the crew, don't disrespect the crew.
You're
I'm
the
really
key.
Shelly.
part of the crew.
Hello, Shelly and audience.
Hi.
Does your audience have like a special epitaph or
No,
are they
maybe we'll make...
are they the last tablers? Are they
Ooh, maybe...
are they the tabled? Like is it turning
Yeah.
into like a
Carpenters.
I don't-
insert? Yeah.
the Carpenters. We're not
Yes.
getting sued on this. We're not getting sued on this
The-
channel. Please don't.
I'm gonna the tablers, yeah, and of course chat gang, because chat gang is a state of mind. They follow me everywhere.
It's true. Hey, chat / commenters / listeners, if you want a little epitaph, just drop whatever you want in the comments. I don't know. We'll figure it out from
Chat
there.
gang named themselves. I suspect your audience will name themselves too. You've got a pretty
Exactly.
rabid audience, from what I
You
understand.
can just at Shelly on Blue Sky and tell her
Blue
yourself
Sky,
what you
Twitter.
want to be called.
Yeah.
Shout out
Yeah.
to
But of course, go ahead.
shout out to Shelly's Dutch fans.
Dutch. Yeah, I have a Dutch following,
Dane-
which is amazing.
Hello,
Danish
Dutch.
But
contingent.
hi. Let's go around the table and introduce everybody to you. For those who don't know, one of these people might be familiar to you because they might have been on the podcast earlier this season. But let's start with our storyteller, our weaver of words, the weaver of the demonic demons that keep showing the fuck up on this podcast. Well, this podcast, because I keep talking about Endless Elegy, and also on Endless Elegy itself. Mephisto, introduce yourself.
Ahoy. Demon's a strong word, by the way. They're just friends from another plane of existence. Why you automatically assume it's a lower plane of existence, huh? Could be a higher or parallel plane. Anyway, I'm Mephisto, the magical Mr. Mephisto, if you're not into that whole brevity thing. I am a resident spooky kid, rocking my Nightmare on Elm Street shirt. Best Nightmare on Elm Street. Was it 3? Yeah. Oh, can't even remember. It's the Dream Warriors. No, I just love it. It had a wizard and shit in it. It was cool. Yeah. So I'm the storyteller, resident spooky kid. I'm on Twitch at Mr. Mephisto, Mr._Mephisto, and all over the internet as Mephisto Mori, because Mister's my middle name. Mephisto Mori are my two last names. It's like a hyphenate. Is that it? Is that all I do? I'm the storyteller.
Yeah.
Don't trust a word I say.
It's
I
true.
am unreliable as a narrator. I've
Uh,
been. Do I do a little blurb like I've been storytelling? No, we'll get into
We'll
that.
go-
All right, cool. All right, cool.
We'll get
cool.
into that.
Don't want to steal your thunder.
We're gonna go to the newest member of our coterie. Elle, introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I am Elle at Sapphic Soulful or at Soulful Sapphic on the social medias. My pronouns are they, them, and I play Jacques Deron, Cajun Ravnos, Dreamwalker, maker of bad decisions extraordinaire, first to die in a horror movie as voted by Chat Gang, who also uses they, them pronouns.
Amazing. We're gonna go to the crier of the group. Hey, Michael.
Hi. I mean, you're not wrong. I am Michael, he, him. You find me all over the internet at Sub-Zero Jalapeno, and I play Rory Teague, everyone's favorite wizard with a Taco Bell fetish.
And
He's totally okay and makes good decisions
last
all the
but
time.
certainly not. What? What was that?
Who's totally okay, he makes good decisions all the time.
Yeah,
Especially
we'll
the
get
last
into that.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. And last but certainly not least, the wonderful, the talented, the amazing, the person that has to put up with me all the time. And introduce yourself.
I mean, you're a joy. I don't have to put up with you. I mean, look at Michael. That's just what I'm saying. I put up with Michael.
I think I put
here
up
for
with
it.
you, is how it actually works.
Fight me, Michael. You won't.
IRL.
You won't, because a ticket cost $1,000. Hi,
Sorry, no fun,
I'm
mate.
Anne. My pronouns are she, her. And I play Sasha Dawson, who makes terrible decisions and at the same time is someone else's terrible decision. Just saying. Sasha's pronouns are also she, her, and I, unlike the rest of this coterie, am a little light on vampire media. I'm not the biggest vampire fan, but I do enjoy Vampire the Masquerade, and specifically this table.
Well, and for those who don't know who I am, I introduced myself at the top, but I'll introduce who I play on Endless Elegy, Second City Blues. Hi, I'm Shelly Von Miller. I play Ashley Dame, the Ventru Primogen of Chicago. Not undisputed, because we don't want to get into a trademark war.
Legally
with
distinct,
Dave Walters.
yeah.
Legally distinct,
Don't sue us.
undisputed. Yes, don't sue us, please. But yeah, I play Ashley Dame. And as of recording this podcast, I'm nominated for Best World of Darkness Player for their Crit Awards
Oh.
for Ashley Dame.
Woo!
And I want to say, let's get this out of the way at the top. It's because of this table that Ashley, one, is a thing, and two, is who she is. It is because of how we as a coterie have been able to weave such a magnificent and amazing story together over the past 2 seasons that that she's even considered a great character to be nominated for a fucking award, which is insane. Whoever did that, you're weird. Get out of here. I told y'all to nominate Michael, Anne, and Elle. How dare you? How dare
What
you?
happened is you split the votes strategically amongst them, and you just happened to be the lowest common denominator. That's
Of
what
course,
happened.
of
That's what-
course.
all of them got sorry. You were just
but-
spoiler in there.
Yeah. But let's get into how this all started. How we all came together. I know Meph from another game that we've played together, which was a Ducks game, a Dragonborn,
yeah.
the Oops All Ducks game that we were on together. But I complained and I was like, oh man, I really want to play VTM so bad. And Buff's like, I played VTM. I've done VTM for so long. But I want to know, how did you wrangle Michael, Ann, and Elle into this?
Is that at me?
You could, well, it could be anybody could add this into here, like how the wrangling happened. What was the conversation like?
Are we gonna go chronologically? Because I'm pretty sure I know what happened after your conversation with Meph.
Yeah,
We can.
so we had already had our conversation, Ann, and I'll let you kind of go into that. But it just so happens, so as you mentioned, I've been playing Oops All Ducks with you. Over on oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the channel? Sorry, it's been a long
Rainbows
day.
and Razor Blades.
Rainbows and Razor Blades, run by the illustrious, the inimitable Chad. We were playing, and you lamented. You're like, man, I really want to play a vampire game. And I pretty much had just finished the second season of sort of the prelude to this. Endless Elegy is kind of like my spin on the World of Darkness. It's like the my own little continuity, because I can never color inside the lines, you know? So I was running the sort of Milwaukee length of it, and I had always intended for it to like sort of dip down into Chicago and a couple other places, and I just so happened to be between sort of seasons on a bit of a hiatus when my friends pretty much stepped away from the internet entirely. Like the whole original cast is just scattered to the wind in various ways, shapes, and forms. And I was like, hey, Shelly, it just so happens that I intend to run a Vampire the Masquerade game. so that was kind of like the honestly, you lit the fire under me. It has to be stated, because I would have dragged my feet forever if you had to give me the like impetus to do it, as someone who like here's a person I think is really cool that I have a lot of fun with playing in a game with them already, and they want to play Vampire, which is, that's my, for me, like I have run a ton of RPGs and I play a lot of RPGs, but Vampire the Masquerade for me is like, that's like my childhood home. That's the, it's always a homecoming for me to like there. It's the one I always go back to. It's the, familiar territory. That and riffs, but we won't talk about riffs because everyone has the wrong opinion about riffs unless they think it's dope. From there, I'll let Anne tell the story, but from there it was like I kind of reached out to Anne, and because we had already had like a familiarity on the internet, and I'll kind of like toss over to Anne. Anne can I think fill in the next bit, because she was pretty much simultaneously as I was having that conversation with you. Anne and I had already was into like one day we'll do a thing together. It was kind of like we had already kind of talked about that prior to Vampire the Masquerade, but then so I'll let Anne kind of take over from there.
So your conversations with Shelly were happening around the same time?
Yeah, they were roughly around the same time. Yeah, you and I believe, had the Halloween Christmas conversation prior. Like that happened before.
Okay, and
that happened before Shelly. Yeah, and then it was like kind of that, I believe, that fall or going into fall. I talked to Shelly, so then I was like, "Hey, Anne, remember how we had this conversation?" It was sort of, but fine. I'll just talk forever. No, go ahead.
I get this message about playing VTM, and so I hadn't had much experience. I wasn't super into vampires in general. Vampire lore, whatever. Dracula, confession, I've never seen any version of Interview with the Vampire. That's how not into vampires I was growing up.
She hasn't done our homework yet, Michael. We gave her homework. Ugh.
We did.
I also have ADHD, so what are you going to do about that? I was bad at doing my homework at school, so... yeah, and so I got this invitation. I was like, I'm really not that into vampires. I tried Vampire the Requiem in a play-by-post situation, but I had never played at a table with anybody before. I hadn't even looked at Vampire the Masquerade, any older versions. But I said I was willing to try it. And I was already kind of looking at V5, and I'm like, okay, this might be a good entry point for me. There's not like 20 years of lore I have to catch up on, which is why I never got into the older versions of Vampire the Masquerade. So basically, I told Meph, I was like, okay, I'm in, but I'm not really super into vampires. So, we're going to learn as we go. And yeah, so we had a discussion. I had tried VTM once before. I did a mini series with Vancouver by Night. Shout out to storyteller Steve, who wanted to run a mini chronicle in Toronto. And so I did 4 sessions at that table. And I had agreed to join this table because I wanted to try it more. And Toreador was the first clan I played, and I just really liked the clan. So that was where that all started. And then I asked for a shotgun. And then, I was in.
Oh, you had your character concept instantly. Like, you're kind of being humble here. You're like, oh, Toreador with a shotgun. Can I be a hot girl with a shotgun? I'm like, absolutely, why not?
How did Michael get involved? How did Michael and then how did
that's
Elle
easy.
get involved?
That's easy. I suggested Michael join the table. At the time, Michael was busy, so he wasn't going to be at this table. And then I felt sad.
Oh no!
But then
I didn't have the time initially. I want to say yes, and then.
Oh yeah, because I think whenever we started the game, you were in a play, right?
Probably that sounds likely. Like
It's been so long, y'all.
Yeah, when things were ramping up, I didn't think I'd be able to do it, and then I was able to do it. And I saw the post, I think in the Razorblade Discord, that you were still looking for someone. I was like, I'm here now.
Yeah.
Speaking of, because, okay, I'm the odd one out of not knowing Elle outside of this table, and I'm so upset about that. Because the 4 of y'all, Elle and Michael and Meph, have played in other games together.
Yes.
How did the conversation...
Other game. I've been working with Anne since like 2023 with Bardic Inspiration Network. It was the first ever actual play that I ever did. Shout out to the Kids on Bikes game, Return to Wonderland. It's lost in the ether now, but it was good. I loved it a lot, and so then I just kept working with Anne, and I just kept hanging out with Anne, and eventually we got on the topic of like Power Rangers, and we realized that we both really loved Lightspeed Rescue, and it was both of our favorite Power Rangers series. And so when Anne did Lightspeed Reignited, I was one of the first people pulled for that, I think. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Second, probably. But yeah.
We'll rock, paper, scissors for it, Michael.
It's simultaneous, okay? Like...
And so from there, I met Meph and Michael, and I just immediately clicked with both of them, especially Meph. I do sincerely think that we are in separate places in this world because our powers would be too much combined.
Yeah, we'll see if Gen Con exists after we walk away from it. Like, it's
Indianapolis is
a
just
singularity
gonna be...
forms. Yeah,
it's gonna be gone. You're welcome, gang.
It's just... we hit it off, and so it was like, at the time I felt a little overwhelmed by I don't like to run more than 3 or 4 players, and at the time I think I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed, but I'm like, we got to get Elle on there, we got to get Elle on there to at least guess Vampire. But then it was like Fuck guest vampire. Hey, Elle, you just want to play the game?
Yeah, so the conversation, it started off with like, oh, what guest character can I play? What character from somebody's backstory can I play? And then it just gradually transitioned to, what character can I make for the coterie? What character will be permanently included in this world?
I'm pretty sure I, at one point, also said, just like when Michael was like, why doesn't Elle just join the coterie instead of being a guest?
Yeah, you did say that.
I mean, yeah, it worked out great, and I'm going to admit this to your audience. Everyone else, like, close your ears. I might have manipulated Elle a little bit into playing Ravnos because I really
You just wanted some weird shit.
I
Like
had
some
a
weird
like
shit involved.
I don't know if so this isn't Rantcast. This is where my show
Yeah.
where we go on tangents too much. So maybe it's a circle back to it thing. But the Week of Nightmares is a thing, and back in the early aughts, White Wolf did the Gehenna stuff, and they actually had like sort of their different scenarios for how the world would end, and basically the one that won is the Ravnos antediluvian wakes up, and things are weird and bad, and weird and bad is like my bread and butter.
Yeah, if you haven't listened or watched any of the Endless Elegy stuff, like
What are
whether
you
it
doing
be
here?
Milwaukee or Second City, one, yeah, what Elle said, what are you doing here? And two, it gets weird. And as somebody who, as a person, I don't like weird all the time. I'm like weird occasionally, weird adjacent. I'm not a horror movie kid. I was tortured as a child, like literally tortured as a child with horror movies, and so it's just like, yeah, I don't mind weird, but it has to be like a certain type of weird. And so whenever it's like, hey, we have a fae guy that's like taking over people's minds and making them see shit, and there's dream walking and just all sorts of crazy stuff, and it's just like, okay, cool.
I think so. I think I'm pretty good at like David Lynch was one of my greatest inspirations. Like I remember watching Twin Peaks sitting on my grandma's lap when I was like super young because she had a crush on Agent Cooper. It was Agent Cooper and Ron. Can I swear on your show? By the way, I already dropped a couple F-bombs. You'll bleep them out in post,
I already
right?
dropped a couple
Cool.
F-bombs. We don't
Ron
care.
the Fuck Perlman in the Beauty and the Beast TV show were like her two major crushes, and then Captain Picard.
jeez.
So like I got to watch those things when I was really young, before some other crazy stuff happened, and like Twin Peaks imprinted on me. And then when I was like old, and then I watched Lost Highway in middle school because it had a banging soundtrack, Nine Inch Nails, Rammstein, Marilyn Manson, like it just a bunch of smooth jazz. And like it was not what I thought it was going to be, and that was when I really figured out who David Lynch was, and then I went whatever. David Lynch is one of the main influences on me. It goes all the way through. To say formative is an understatement. If I could, I would consume his soul and become him. And I try to earn the weird. I start with the shark jumped, and even so, there's places I won't go.
That's true. I will say, I mean, okay, first episode with Elle, but also first episode of the Chronicle in general, it got weird off the bat.
Oh yeah.
And I also like the fact that we are the most violent of the crew between the two tables that Andrews had.
Oh, yeah.
What was it? Episode 1, we were just like, yeah, we're gonna fight things.
Yeah.
I think it took you till 2 or 3.
Oh,
I don't think it was episode 1. It took the Milwaukee crew 16 episodes to roll combat dice.
Slackers.
16.
Slackers.
But I mean, you got a Toreador with a shotgun,
doing
a wizard with
episode
a sword.
16. I'm just saying.
Like,
I would love to compare episode 16s. Like, what was episode 16 of the first
Actually,
season?
have
let
to
me
go
look it up
look
real
through.
quick.
Yeah.
I know.
But
reading.
yeah,
We don't have a Charles sitting here to tell me right now.
we don't have Charles. We should have invited Charles. By the way, the funny thing is we make a joke on the at the table, like before, during, and after. We want the game to be known like across the world. It would be great. But our main audience is Charles.
Yes.
Like, Charles is a wonderful person who comes into chat and is part of the Mephs community, also my community now, because, yeah. And
Charles
yeah,
is just all around good people. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When Charles makes a comment in, like, the Endless Elegy section of the Discord, it's just like, we did it. We did it, chat. We did it. We did it. We got Charles on board. Charles is in charge of this. But okay, so I kind of want to go over some of the influences, because we did some media influences whenever it came to this.
Yeah.
Al, you weren't in the initial conversation for this, but you've heard it ever since, and you've noticed it. Some of our influences that we wrote down, media influences for like session 0, were Buffy. For me at least, Buffy, and I think Interview with a Vampire.
I think everyone said Buffy. I think everyone universally said Buffy.
I definitely said Interview with a Vampire and like Blade. I definitely said Blade.
Yeah.
I was because I wanted that violence part of like just yes.
I don't remember if I mentioned True Blood, but I
I
definitely
think you
mentioned
did.
Buffy.
You would have mentioned True Blood.
Because
I mean,
like
just
hot
the
sexy
CW
vampires.
vibe in general was a heavy,
Yeah.
like,
CW is definitely our vibe.
If Anne like has a type, like she's on like Tinder or whatever, and it asks her type, it's just gonna say CW drama.
Oh yeah.
Not to
okay. Hold on. Hold
like
on.
Carl Duncan's CW drama or something like that. It's like
Hold on. Before Shelly's audience makes assumptions about me, I don't want it in my life. I enjoy it in my entertainment and my happy pretend time.
No, that's
but I don't want it in my life.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, I'm only talking about the game type. Like it's CW drama. No, I ask that of every party in every game session 0, and I have since middle school. And I tried to like explicitly state, and y'all failed the assignment. And I tried to explicitly state, like it doesn't need to be vampire stuff. Like it can be anything. If you have like a poster or a song or a painting, like it can be anything. What pieces of art do you look at, listen to, watch? Make you feel some kind of way? What are those 3 things that you want in this game? Everyone universally said Buffy, which also sets you up for the weird, by the way.
Yeah.
Episode 100 is a musical, so we gotta do a musical episode, right? Like
legally, we have to do a musical. We have to at least do a song.
I will be lip syncing then.
So
I am
fair.
That's fine.
Like,
listen, if William
like 40
Shatner put a
episodes in
spoken
between
word
the
award
2
album, you're
sessions.
fine.
Yeah, just
yeah,
like,
you could just do the Captain Kirk. Why am I bad with names right now?
William Shatner?
Yeah, you can just do the Shatner, the Shatner Ben Folds 5 thing where he just kind of like talk some.
Sings?
Yeah,
Oh, God,
just do
I hate that. No, I love that. Elle, whenever it comes to media, whenever you consume media, whether it's vampire media or whatever, because you weren't part of this session 0, what do you like to consume?
Yeah. So the first thing that came to mind when we were talking like, media touchstones is the painting Ivan the Terrible and his son, where Ivan the Terrible is like cradling his son's body after he just killed him. And you can see the, like, regret and the grief and the rage in his face. And it is always so visceral. And I just feel that, like, tug in my gut every time I look at it. It's incredible. I love it so much. Go stare at it for, like, 20 minutes. You're gonna find new details every time you look at it. It's one of, I think, the best pieces of art in any art form, not just painting.
I'm taking a totally unrelated note. Go on.
That fun fact, that painting did actually inspire a lot of Jack's like backstory characteristics. Like
If
imagining
only you knew one thing that's about to happen a little bit later on too. By the way, this it's even
this is
better.
gonna be fun. So imagining like what led up to that moment, the history that led up to Ivan the Terrible cradling his dead son that he just killed. That is really what goes into Jack as a character and like the backstory that shaped Jack as a character. So that's a big media touchstone for me. I just love it. Another big one is just generally space operas, but specific shout outs to Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Babylon 5, baby. Shout out to
Ooh.
Babylon 5. Everyone
Straczynski.
go watch Babylon 5 right now. It is a
Does this mean we're going to
requirement.
space
It's
now?
so good.
Pause this podcast where you're
Yeah.
at. Go watch all of Babylon 5.
Watch all
come back.
5 seasons. There are
Then
okay, so
remember
there's
to
a
come
movie.
back and finish this.
You
And then,
watch
yeah,
the
remember-
first movie, you watch 5 seasons, you watch the next movie, and then you watch the sequel series, and then you come
And-
back here.
J. Michael
Yes.
Straczynski.
We've touched on the media part. We've touched on how this all began and everything like that. We've had some wild ass swings on in the show, in the podcast, whatever, however you want to consume it. It's available on YouTube. You'll get the link down in the doobly-doo. What I guess, like, okay, I know dice are like the major factor of when these wild ass swings happen, but like, okay,
Not for us.
not for us, not for us. I
Not
feel
for
like
me.
I feel like when wild swings happen, it's just like, yeah, like Ashley trying to use a presence power on Annabelle right out the fucking gate. Should have just
Episode
marched.
1,
That's
2, like, yeah.
Just like
Sup, girl?
Ashley's just gonna buck up to the primogen of the Toreador. Should have been an idea of what this coterie is up to.
I want you to know I gave you main character armor a little bit early on.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Because I mean I hadn't run y'all as a party yet. I'm still I call it 3 adventures. It's not exactly 3 adventures, but it usually takes me about 3 adventures to, if I'm playing a character, to learn that character. It usually takes me 3 adventures to learn a party that I'm running. I'm a forever GM by choice. I love running, and it takes me about 3 adventures. And I was still feeling you out. You were giving me useful data in that instant, and you didn't realize it. And so it wasn't that I gave you plot armor. It was that we had a transaction that you didn't know about in that moment. I knew you were willing to try to dominate. Like, you might, like, Ashley Day might be 175 years old or whatever. I'm making up a number. She's very old. She's not that old.
She's not that old, okay?
She might be Ansela in age. She wasn't Ansela in XP to design her. And out the gate, you were hard committed to Miss Dame's ego and Miss Dame's legacy and her ambition, quite frankly. If I could sum up Ashley Dame in one word, it's ambition. I might add a second descriptor to that and say blind ambition, because sometimes she's so busy. I was gonna try to twist this into a Jurassic Park, like not knowing stop, but it doesn't quite fit.
Yeah.
Ashley Dame was so busy wondering if she could do something, she didn't stop to think if she should. No, it's not quite that. It's like she has to prove she is Chicago's first family, like one of Chicago's first families. She has to at all moments, and anytime it's in question, or anytime her legacy is like even hinted at. Like, there's still like a couple hanging threads. By the way, Sun is going to make a reappearance pretty soon.
Oh no!
I know, spoilers. You didn't think
Spoilers.
I forgot about you, did I?
Oh,
Exactly
no.
what he's going to say, by the way, in the first text message you get from him.
Speaking of like 1 word or 2 word things, what would you what would everybody say to everybody else's character? Like, what is a one-word descriptor that you would give everybody else's character or your own character?
Is Rory's of Sasha going to be hot with a W T?
Tethered.
Sorry, I didn't mean it. Yeah, that's a great question. Jack, one word for each of the coterie members.
So for Sasha, I think it's powerful. I think that Jack sees Sasha as this, like, absolute undominable powerhouse. Maybe that's a better word. Undominable. Like,
Okay.
just can't be taken down, can't be caged. She will break the bars. I think that Jack really admires that strength. For Rory, I think that clever is the word that Jack goes with, because...
Can I interject? Because mine
This
is
is-
tragic, but go on.
This is Jack's perception.
Okay.
Jack is somebody who's always been endlessly fascinated by, like, the mystical aspects of the world, but they've never been good at it. They've never been somebody with that talent. They're not a wizard, and they're never going to be a wizard.
Sure
And
you
so
can.
they see this person who is a wizard, who has this control that they could never hope to achieve, that no matter how much they look at it and they study it in their books in Dr. Trom's office, they're never going to be able to reach that. And so they look at Rory and they're like, he must be so smart to have figured that out. He must be so good at being a wizard. He is clearly a very clever man. He's got some way of doing things that's working for him.
He's what is that? You're a clever boy,
Yeah,
Rory.
clever.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
clever
you're
boy.
a clever boy, Rory.
Cole, there's a sound bite of Sasha saying that.
I hear myself say it every single time.
As soon as they said it, as soon as Elle said it, it was just rattling around in my head. I'm so
Jack's
glad
a
you
lesbian.
started laughing.
Trauma
Jack's a
flashback.
lesbian. That's canonically.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then for Ashley, I think that there are so many words to describe Ashley Dane in Jack's mind.
Damn!
But I think that the one that is kind of sticking out to me is probably, like... Fuck, this is gonna sound so bad out of context. Let me explain it before anybody says anything.
No, say the word first and then backpedal and explain it. I think that's way more entertaining.
Yeah.
Flexible. But, okay,
like
So-
she can put her one leg well behind her ear, you know,
God
like
damn it. Okay, so
no.
Jack sees Ashley as
Like
somebody...
a
also-
snake.
That's
Like a
also
snake.
Cleveland's
Exactly,
power.
exactly.
Like a snake.
Exactly,
She's-
thank you, you get it.
I get it. I knew it wasn't sexual in tone. It was like
But it will be.
it was like flexible. It fuck off. Fuck off, Michael.
It-
Speaking of yeah, no, I get it. Ashley
Yeah,
is a snake.
the way that she can transition between, like, fighting and political maneuvering, she can be whatever she needs to be in a situation. And I think that Jack thinks that's really cool and really admires that and is like, wow, I wish I could do that.
Not scary.
No,
Because
not...
Jack plays a little bit like a neonate or a fledgling, you know, like Jack they have been sheltered for the most part. Going to Chicago is really where they're cutting their teeth. It really makes you wonder why Trom would just throw Jack into this
God, I
this
do wonder
cauldron.
that.
Sorry, what you were about to ask Michael his one
Yeah,
words.
Michael. Yeah, what are your one words, Michael?
For your audience, see, I love fucking with my players. This is like one of my favorite things. But trust me, though.
Well, I mean, for Sasha, home.
Ooh, aw.
Oh no, it's a bad. It's terrible. But
Well, it's like saying the Titanic is home, right? Like, just
exactly.
It's fine. I mean, we all know that's unsinkable, so...
After the
right.
the explosion in Vienna and the breaking of the Tremere pyramid scheme blood bond, when Rory fled into the night, like eventually she was the first person who helped him, took him off the street, gave him a new home, and eventually became that home. So
Also taking an unrelated note. Don't mind me.
Oh God.
Meph does this, by the way, y'all.
He does, yeah.
I love when my players talk about whatever, because it gives me so many great ideas. Sorry.
Ashley? It's hard to pick one word for Ashley. Family?
Aww.
Man, Rory is just going to be so... Never mind.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
He just lost that first humanity, too. We'll see how he feels in, like, another 2 humanity gone.
Listen, I'll get it back. It's fine. But yeah, however, I mean, it was a forced coterie. Like we were subjected upon poor Ashley Dame because
Yep.
Yeah, inflicted on her, really.
Inflicted upon, yeah, because, Rory and Sasha can't be trusted to, like, not do dumb shit without somebody on Overwatch. So, yeah, but, I mean, yeah. And for
Did you say Jax?
Not yet.
You, yeah.
Yeah,
Be mean to me. Michael, be mean to me right now.
Hurt me more, Snake.
Hope.
Do you remember?
Hope.
The clash of flesh and sinew.
Yeah. I think Rory
That was a
sees
Metal Gear
in
Solid
Jax
reference.
some of himself and, like, that next generation of poor unfortunate souls who have been turned into monsters who refuse to be the monster. All the time, at least. Someone to carry on the torch. Like, we can leave the world brighter than it was yesterday.
It's so funny that they're the same age.
You did play The Last Adventure, right? Like, you did learn about stuff. Carrying on the... Never mind. What are your words, host?
Anne. Yeah. No, Anne needs to go.
Oh, Anne, right.
Anne.
Poor Anne.
I was buying Anne extra time. I know she hates questions like this.
Yeah.
No, I think the word for Ashley is respect. Like, Sasha is the one who has a space in Ashley's home. She's, benefited from Ashley's resources from time to time, but she's also the person that's like, I have my own space. I have my own, like, limited resources. Like, I'm still independent. I don't want to take more than I need from Ashley, even though she's doing this, right? So I think it's also like, she's always had this kind of, I guess, healthy fear of Ashley too, in a sense, like just older and, just an older kindred adventure. There's distrust and fear mixed in, but it's all out of respect for Ashley. Like, she doesn't, you know what I mean? I think there's a big thing of respect in that dynamic. I mean, obviously the word for Rory is clever, but also, Rory's a reminder that Sasha forms unhealthy attachments. It's so bad. But also so good. I think, like, because they had known each other and they'd had that background before they met Ashley and everything, there's a connection to what she used to be in Rory. That's to remind her as she's becoming something else and evolving and making all of these other decisions. Whether that works or not, who knows? And Jack is just fresh, someone new, someone to learn about. Sasha doesn't really know them that well, but they were the one who brought. She was the one who brought them into the fold, and she wants to get to know them, but because things have been going from 0 to 60 so quickly, there hasn't really been time to get to know them. But yeah, fresh is the word right now.
That second word isn't meat, is it? Because you've might have gotten an appetite for diablerie here this last adventure.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
This is going to be a cop-out for myself, but for all three, so for Rory, Sasha, and for Jack, it's familiar because Ashley sees a lot of herself in each of them. Whenever it comes to Jack, it's the being sheltered by your maker and being told and, like, you know, kind of manipulated into believing something and then finding out it's probably not true. And it's definitely going to bite you in the ass with naivete. I guess that would be like the second word is like familiar naivete. For Jack, for Sasha, it is familiar because she too, like Ashley too, was like built to kill things. She was told, you are going to torture people, you're going to do this for the prince, as my kind of like, this is my gift to the prince, here you go, you have somebody to torture things out of whatever. And so she's built to stab and maim and cause a lot of harm. And Ashley sees Sasha dealing with the after effects of finding out in a way of that's not the life that she should have been living. And unfortunately it is, through like pure manipulation. And then whenever it comes to Rory, it's familiar because of the background that they both share in being mages, or being potential mages, with their potential just being ripped away from them. Because their maker wanted power in whatever form that took. So yeah, so familiarity is definitely a word for all three. And then, yeah, just a different version of it. It's a cop-out, I know, but it's as Ashley is the oldest, and we've already established this. Ashley is the oldest because she's the one who was made before everybody else, but also she is kind of like your not your favorite aunt, but like the aunt that unceremoniously takes you in whenever, like you just get dumped. Yeah,
Like,
she is
Candy.
Uncle Buck.
Like,
Yeah,
shows
she is
up-
Uncle Buck.
At first, you think that like she's this like just crazy, horrible asshole of a person that you have difficulty, and then you realize she's kicking ass for you. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
And we kind of mentioned, it kind of got brought up in the last adventure of when this podcast is being recorded. Go check it out. It's episode 20 of season 2, I believe. But yeah, Ashley is like, everybody else can fuck all the way off. This is coterie. It's coterie over everything else. It's coterie over the
Over clan even.
Over, I would say Ashley would say it's coterie over clan.
Ooh.
I mean, that I do believe that
coterie
is
over
basically
clan.
one of our fucking chronicle tenants.
Yeah, it's it is a chronicle tenant. It's coterie over
What
clan,
I
and
mean, never act against the coterie. Yeah.
Ash, yeah,
Yeah, right on.
Ashley, like, don't get me wrong, she's never had a coterie before this. She was forced to have this coterie, and so she's just like, she's housed them, she's clothed them, she's given them money and blood and time and energy, and so she's like, these are like, Ashley will never have childer. She will never make, but she has, unfortunately, because
She did make one. They're
She
about
did.
to do stuff.
well, before that, Ashley was just like, I don't want to torture anybody. I don't want to make anyone my child and pass on a legacy of hate and everything like that. I think that's like whatever humanity is left in Ashley, that is part of it. And she unreluctantly made a childer because, not because she felt she was beholden to Sam to make him because he was a ghoul at one point, but because she knew, like, that was like one of the, like, the Sams are like her humanity. The coterie and the Sams are her humanity that's left. And she has very little fucking humanity, y'all. She is at a 5.
Yeah.
What one word would you have for us, oh illustrious storyteller?
Yeah. Yeah, Matt's already told.
Well, the first
Ashley's.
one is wrong because this is Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I can't believe I let you make me second guess myself. This is Dream Warriors 3, not 4. 4 is Dream Master. You monster. For Ashley, it's like I said, ambition. No, this is the one with Larry Fishburne, baby. Like, come on, Lawrence Fishburne. So it's also no for Ashley, I mentioned it's ambition. For Jack is easy because it's hope. Now, hope is a double-edged sword, though.
Yeah.
You have to keep in mind, like, you can have false hope. You can have, you can have your hopes dashed. You can get your hopes up. You can have a new hope.
Jack is actually a Star Wars movie, despite having never seen Star Wars.
No, but Jack gets hope. It's Jack has this starry-eyed quality to them, but also, so they themselves, have this quality of hope about them, but also they kind of represent it. Rory sort of touched on that, or Michael touched on that a little bit. The sort of like next wave of kindred. But Jack is a very hopeful individual. Naive, perhaps, but I feel like you have to be naive to have hope sometimes. So it's not entirely a bad thing. But very much the double-edged sword of representation or meaning of hope. I don't know if I want to do Rory or Sasha next. Sasha's like the first one that popped in my mind just now, like just word association style, is Fury.
Ooh.
But like also like like
that's what I thought you were gonna say.
Like the Furies too, as well. Like like the 5 Furies and stuff like that. So like, but Sasha's just has this fury about her. There's a sadness there. Like, I don't think she's processed the sadness. I don't think she's ever processed the sadness in her life or on life, as it were. She has never dealt with any of her baggage in any way other than fucking and fury. And it's worked out good for her so far. It's working. It's working. But she's got this rage isn't correct. Rage feels like it's more mindless, right? Fury is like you do something to bring down the fury. It is focused. It is pointed. I also think Sasha's the most misunderstood character in the coterie. I think she's, if you just watch one episode, she'd be the one you'd get wrong in terms of the sort of like, but then you'd watch 3 or 4, and then you'd suddenly start to like put it together. But yeah, Fury. It's just Fury. Rory, I want to make a joke. Clever. No. Rory, denial. Rory is simply like denying his existence. He like in terms of being kindred. He's a bagger. He's denying that bloodlust that exists within him. Like, he has a beast like the rest of y'all. When he finally breaks, his beast's going to do the most violent thing. Technically, storytelling system, quote unquote, in Vampire the Masquerade, right? I can just switch into narrative mode and narrate shit when I feel like it. I can suspend the rules and toss them out the window and just narrate stuff. But in specific, when you frenzy, it explicitly states, yes, he takes control of your character. I have always tried to strike a balance with player agency, even in a game like Vampire the Masquerade. Even when I was in the 7th grade running it, and I ran much more violent, schlocky, vampires killing villages style games, very, very different. Even then, I had a delicate dance with agency. I was running Sam was best friend. I was running his character. By the way, he plays Cass in the first 2 seasons of Endless Elegy, the Milwaukee leg of this. I was running Sam. He's my best friend, and I looked up to him. So it started out as I was unwilling to take control of his character, right? And so I've always had that just baggage, I guess. When Rory inevitably frenzies, however, when he is going to have the most regrettable stuff to reconcile, and I will be assuming the most control in that situation.
I can't wait.
So you know,
I can't wait.
That's not to be cruel to Michael the player. I talked to Michael about this. How I feel like he really likes the character Rory as a player. Like, we all have characters we've become attached to. If someone GM were to just like kill your character, you would genuinely be upset. Like, you'd be like, screw this. You might even have like really ill will towards that GM, even if they're like your best friend in the world. You'd be like, why the hell did you kill my character? It'd be like taking your car out and like smashing your car, except worse. And like he's got I do get the feeling, and I've talked to Michael a little bit about this, so it's got to be earned. The narrative really has to be there. This isn't he frenzies like, next week and I'm like, ha ha ha, you've taken over the city. This isn't that. This is gonna be a big moment, because to me, Rory's character is sort of denying what he is and the world he's in. I don't think that's necessarily like stupidity or naivete or anything along those lines. I do think that he's got some. It's like a mental health sort of denial, where like once he realizes it and works through it, he'll be better for it. But that's also something you got to role play on camera too. You got to earn that. So go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also one who's going to see a sunrise the hard way. So
yeah,
almost.
You almost did.
You almost did.
You almost did.
So,
speaking of things, yeah. Speaking of things coming up, or what we're hoping to get out of our characters, what are some things that you hope we could get resolved? Because we have so many plot points.
Oh, many.
What are you hoping gets resolved?
Ashley,
so
twin
many hanging
sister.
chats.
Ashley, twin sister.
Fucking hell. God,
We
I
need to
regret that so much.
We need to find someone to play her twin. That would be fun.
I
And
thought that'd
Beth.
be a great birthday stream too, by the way, and I just couldn't pull it together for you. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Because you were asking about, like you mentioned big swings earlier, and I think it was actually around season 1, episode 16, when the character of Zorn was introduced. It was either like 15 or 16
Oh.
or whatever. So, yeah. So Sasha's got issues upon issues stacked with more issues going on, right? But as a player, I think it would be fun to put the Zoran issue on top, like a cherry on her cake of issues, like her pile of issues. I think just the evolution of how powerful she is like, I don't think she's fully understood that she actually is doing some really powerful shit, manipulating
I don't think
reality.
any of y'all get that.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, she needs, like, I would love to see more of that power and her being like, whoa, I fucking did that.
This is a comic book villain like level. This is like a Doctor Doom takes over the world level of power that Sasha has, and she just used it to bring her boyfriend back.
Boyfriend's
Unresolved
back.
issues about that.
What about Jack?
For Jack plot points, generally, I want to figure out what's happening with Trom. What the fuck is going on with Trom? And I also just want to make Jack worse. Rory's a character who is defined by his preservation of humanity. Jack, I made to become worse. I made Jack so that Jack can have a downward spiral and a corruption arc. And that is a lot of the reason why there were certain decisions that were made. So I'm just very excited to see how their worldview gets completely shattered. And...
I mean, so far we're 3 for 4 whenever it comes to Diablerizing in our coterie.
Jack's gotta eat somebody.
Jack's gotta eat somebody.
Can I just say, as a storyteller in, like, you know, in a different era, I would be really upset that my coterie was 3 for 4 on Diablerie. With this coterie, I'm like considering it like achievements. I'm like, yeah, I got another one. It's so weird. It's so weird. Sorry, go on.
What about you, Michael?
Well, I mean, I want to become an official edgelord.
Jesus.
Oh my God, yes! Yes!
For context,
Oh my God.
there's like a secret society of vampires called the On 10-7 who like run around and do cool shit, and like I want Rory to join the team, you know.
Sasha's not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, well, you know.
There's lots of secret societies of vampires, okay? But only
one that would trigger
named
Sasha.
after an outlaw star
Yeah.
group.
And I mean, it's probably still inevitable, but
Speaking
I
of
can't
space
wait
operas.
for the rooftop in the rain fight with Zoran. That's on my list. I think there was something
And the
there,
kiss. Kissing.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
yeah. Oh, and just
The
Rory
fight
in
can
general,
end in a
like
kiss, okay?
the inevitable like bisexual turn for Rory, like.
Yeah. Meph, what about you? What are some...
No, you gotta ask me last. You gotta do
sorry.
yours. You gotta do yours.
Okay.
You gotta do.
Sorry, this is my
yeah.
podcast. All of a
I
sudden,
know,
you're in
just
charge.
asking, but you can't ask
I know.
the storyteller before the players do
there-
That's just bad form.
I mean, I've been trying to push this for so long. First Light... I've been wanting to get to the First Light plot point for so long that, yeah, I'm like...
Unrelated note, by the way.
Unrelated note. But also, the inevitable circle back to the Primogen Council. I want some more political points in there. But also just to see the kind of like infighting within the Camarilla that we kind of get on the periphery. But I want especially after the island, what the fuck is going on there. I want that. I want the Primogen Council bullshit of like, what else are we not telling people?
Yeah,
What
you got
about you,
some
Meth?
fuel. You got some fuel there. Like the island wasn't just in the Mephisto is weird category of stuff. There was
Mhm.
I mean, speaking of Charles, Charles was very pleased with how much like lore dropped. The like kind of like the first or second island adventure. He's like, "Oh, the lore drops and stuff like that." The island was something that I built up in my mind as like that sort of big point of no return. There's always a point of no return in sort of a traditional narrative structure, and that's what the island was. Way back when talking to Anne about her big reveal, which was her sire's not her sire, right? For me, what do I want? Guess we'll do a callback to Straczynski conversation earlier. I like stories that end. Endless Elegy is called Endless Elegy because the camera moves to another platform or another place, and it's all kind of loosely connected. Like the story, in a broad sort of sense, never ends, but the individual chapter does. And this our time with this coterie will draw to an end. Like Babylon 5, the story is going somewhere. And I kind of want that moment where y'all realize that. Like your characters kind of recognize the other shoe is dropped. It's hard to answer that question because it's like, do I speak in specifics? Do I try to talk?
No,
Do my tongue
don't
in
give
cheek?
us spoilers.
Do I do my tongue in cheek thing where I'm really hamming up the unreliable narrator thing? In an immediate sense, I can't wait for you to meet your sister. Like I have like kind of the immediate story beat for each
I'm
each
still
player.
mad about that.
Like she
Oh, yeah.
was supposed to be the way one of the adventures ended. She was gonna be on the island with her own like rowboat basically, and she was gonna like walk up, and that was gonna be the end of the adventure. But y'all did something even cooler, and I'm like, there goes my story beat, So in the immediate sense, I want you to meet your sister. I suspect that she is going to materialize different from how I initially saw her, as like a sort of. I think she might be more antagonistic than I initially intended her.
Mhm.
I would love to get a guest vampire for that. So I'd love that.
Yeah.
Another sort of immediate sense for Jack, I very specifically like the other shoe for Jack to drop. I want Jack to put together Trom's relationship to Mr. Grimm, the island, and their presence in Chicago. I can't wait for that.
They were roommates.
That painting moment.
So without giving too much away, if you want to go catch up on all of this, you can go check out Endless Elegy on YouTube. We're gonna go around the table, as
Around
it
the
were,
island.
and tell everybody where you're from or where they can find you. Plug your shit, basically. L.
All right. Hello, everyone. As I said before, you can find me at Sapphic Soulful or at Soulful Sapphic on the social medias. I'm also on Bardic Inspiration Network every other Monday, playing Keegan Cunningham, Power Ranger with canonical depression, who has maybe failed the bar exam. Fun Power Ranger problems to have, but it's okay because they also hit on giant hot minotaurs. So hey, we got a balance. And then you can find me on Tuesdays, Lantern Light Adventures. I am either a magical girl or currently we are doing Monster Hearts 2 and I am playing Sybil Lark, who is a witch that keeps making people's teeth fall out and caused a cis man to have his first period. He is
So
a
still
Ken
a
doll
magical
now.
girl.
Love that.
Yes, it's
Love that.
wonderful. So just come check us out there. Enjoy that chaos.
Anne.
Hi. You can find me on Blue Sky at thegirlwonder.bsky.social. You can bother me there. I have a list of things I would like to plug, but I'm probably not going to remember all of them. That being said, follow Bardic Inspiration Network on Twitch. That's where all my streaming, my campaigns are going on. Michael and Elle are featured on that channel. I'm going to be running Cyberpunk Red. I don't know when this is going to be released, but like by the time you see this, it'll probably be on the channel. So yeah, that's the thing that I'm doing. I also play a magical girl on Valdriant's Twitch channel on Thursdays, right before Vampire. So if you want a bit of a genre whiplash, right before I play Sasha, I also play Lily Rose, who it took me 3 sessions, but I cried on stream for the first time playing that character. So that's the thing that happened. Yeah. That's it. Follow me on Twitch, Bardic Inspiration Network.
Michael?
Hey. Yes, I'm Michael. You can find me everywhere at Sub-Zero Jalapeno. Mondays, every other Monday. I am Ryan Mitchell, sad boy, and just all around trying to figure shit out kind of guy, because I had a bunch of weirdos on my team who can't get their shit together. No matter how much you tell them you love them and that they're okay, like they refuse.
Depression's a hell of a drug, man.
Yeah, yeah. And
Small
Thursdays,
street can't
obviously,
punch.
these weirdos. Coming soon to an internet near you, I will be a cyberpunk. Then
You're like, I can't think of any more.
I'm like, and then over at Spectrum TTRPG, I am various other Power Rangers. Currently right now, because we are on a bit of a hiatus for Let There Be Thunder because of scheduling conflicts, we are rebroadcasting Heirs to Olympus, our Greek-themed Power Rangers game, where I am the Red Ranger. Technically, I'm the leader. Nobody's really good at listening, but I do get to date. I do get to date Medusa, so flip sides. And I'm also on that channel. I am the greatest Pink Ranger to ever Pink Ranger. I will murder somebody someday, and I do sleep with a gun under my pillow, even though I have superpowers. Because why wouldn't you? And
Meth.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am the aforementioned magical Mr. Mephisto, spooky kid, horror obsessed storyteller of Endless Elegy. You can find me on most of the social medias at Mephisto Mori. You can find me on Twitch at mr_Mephisto, where I run Endless Elegy on Thursdays. On Mondays, I'm Ren Velasquez on the Bardic Inspiration Network, Phantom Ranger. And I just started a Moonbeam, where I have Mephisto as the name, simply Mephisto. So if you are into that brevity thing, go follow me over on Moonbeam at Mephisto. We'll see how that goes. Twitch told me to delete 900 hours and like 12 years of content. So it finally gave me the impetus to, make a channel on something else. And if you want to watch the entire backlog, the whole catalog of Endless Elegy stuff, including the Milwaukee adventures and everything we've done so far, you can catch all that stuff on YouTube. Just look for Mephisto Mori or look up Endless Elegy, Second City Blues. At some point, I hear tell there might be an Endless Elegies New Orleans. That's one day that might happen, or we'll go back to Milwaukee where the Gangrel Prince is now a Lasombra, and we'll see how that goes, or how that's been going in the last quote-unquote 2 years since it happened, right? Because in game time it'll have been 2 years. Got lots of plans for this game. And I'm not going to slow down telling any stories I'm going to tell stories all the places.
Well, you can find all those links and more down in the show notes. Make sure to follow everybody and make sure to check out Endless Elegy Second City Blues. I love this story. I cannot live without this story, and honestly, I love it so much. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Shelly Von Miller, to include Fourth Wall and Patreon, where you can get behind the scenes and early access to podcast episodes, videos, me getting ready in drag, whatever the fuck else. I don't know. Things are crazy. And maybe one day we'll have a Patreon for Endless Elegy. We don't know. We'll figure that out one day. That being said, I love you guys very much, and I will see you on the internet. Goodbye!